You're probably wondering why I'm doing my overseeding now instead of earlier in the season. So being in the transition zone, we're at the very bottom of the transition zone. So we get Bermuda grass, we get fescue, we get basically all the kind of grasses can grow here. So with being in transition zone, our temperatures can range from anywhere from 90 degrees at one day for a high and then a low of maybe 50. I was looking for more in that 80 degree range. So now it's dropped down to, you know, mid 80s, low 80s during the day. That's why I decided to put my grass seed down. We don't freeze until end of November. So I have definitely more than 45 days to get my grass established before first frost comes. So this is what's left over after doing the front and backyard. Well, actually, this is just from the backyard. I have probably about, I don't know, 15 more pounds. So I'm going to put a whole bunch in the spreader and just do one more pass through the front and backyard with whatever I have left over. I'll save the rest of this bag for having to do any kind of touch-ups, which will obviously have to happen at some point in time. So I'm saving a good 2 pounds of grass seed right now, 3 pounds. So this will hold me over for any bare spots. But I'm gonna take this that's here now, spread it throughout the yard, get this all taken care of, and I'll be done with the overseeding project for the time being. I want to explain what I'm planning on doing next year and what I'm hoping I can take care of this year. So if you look over here in this area, you can see that there's ruts going along. Basically that's from the weight of the Time Master on the wheels. So I do change up the direction, but I mean, you can only change it up so much. So with this clay, it looks like it's really soft. So I'm gonna try to go over it with the lawn roller and see if I can level some of this out and go different directions. And then also when I do that, it'll help push the grass seed down into the actual dirt, so that way it gets better contact with the soil. Let's go ahead and get this last little bit put out in the backyard and call this a wrap. Okay, so that's it for the overseeding side of the project. So now I just gotta wait for the lawn roller to come in. I have a reservation made at Home Depot for noon, and the time is currently 9:45. So when I get that rental, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna roll the grass seed in, and then I'll show you guys about what kind of fertilizer I use and when I plan to use it. Stay tuned. Okay, so now we're getting ready to do the last part of this overseeding project, which is gonna be the lawn rolling. So water going in the yard, I'm getting it wet yet again, just to get it as saturated as possible. So that way it's easier for the lawn roller to come through and compress all the ruts that are in the grass currently. So we went over to Home Depot and they had this available for rent. It was, I think, $15 for 4 hours. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna set each one of my zones to go at 10 minutes each zone, and then once it's done sprinkling with the sprinklers, I'm gonna come through the lawn roller and roll it out while it's still wet. So when it comes to filling these up, there's a plastic cap on here, so unscrew it. Put the cap somewhere where you're not gonna lose it. Water in, turn it on. Let it fill up. After all the dethatching and mowing and whatnot, this is what we came up with. We got about 9 bags of the Lowe's leaf bags. Now that the front is done being sprayed off with the sprinklers, we're gonna go ahead and roll it out. Okay, so the lawn rolling is complete. Everything's ran over. Looks like it did a pretty good job. Turn around so you guys can see the ruts. So you can still kind of see them, but they're not nearly as noticeable now as they were before. I mean, yeah, they're still there. It's not gonna be perfect, but I think the lawn roller was a good idea. Like I said, next year I'm planning on doing a full renovation, so I'm gonna glyphosate this whole yard and start all over again. And we'll do a lot of leveling and take care of imperfections at that point in time. But for now, this will do. So dump out the water out of the roller. And I finished that just in time. I just now have my regular sprinkler system running, so feed down here a lot of water, probably about 4 times a day, 10 minutes per zone. So this is my first of a couple. So yeah, I'm gonna go at 6, 10, 2, and then 6 again. If I need to adjust anything, I will, but so far this is what's gonna be set on. I think it'll work out just fine. So we'll go ahead and check in next week and see if we have any germination. I don't think we will. It's fescue, so I mean we might get something, but I'm not expecting too much by the end of the week. So we'll go through adjust the sprinkler heads for the most part, and get you guys some different content. So hopefully you guys learn a little bit from this video. Just doing a quick overseed. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Just kind of give you a quick demonstration as to what you need to do to overseed. You don't have to go through and do aeration and do a bunch of fancy stuff every single year. If you've done aeration in the last couple of years, you're fine to skip a year or two. So all I did was just get some of the debris out of the grass and then give enough room for my grass seed to get down to the soil. The Greenworks dethatcher, which did okay. I wouldn't, I don't think I'm gonna use it again next year. I already gave it away to my brother-in-law, so he can have that, and I'm probably gonna get a Sun Joe and see if there's any difference. But so far from what I've seen and expected, I mean, it's done a good job. It didn't need to do, it was only 20 bucks. So after we put down the when we dethatched everything, we went through and put down grass seed. So the grass seed that we got was from Site 1. It is a 3 types of tall fescue mix. So at Site 1 they call it the Kansas Excalibur blend. Earlier in the video I went over the tag, you saw everything that was there. And then after that, we just put down our grass seed in the areas we need to take care of first, with some of the bald areas, some of the tracks, and then after that, we just put down grass seed over the whole thing, blanket application. Rolled over here, this is usually a pretty wet area. My dogs like to run through here and chase a neighbor dog, and this is always wet over here, so I went through and leveled this out as best as I could. It looks a lot better than it normally does. So this is a lost cause. I don't know what to do for this. I leveled out some of it, but I mean, this is gonna be wet constantly. My neighbor has their sprinkler and their water comes over here at the low spot, so I have to bring up the level of the soil itself so that way it runs off in the sidewalk. For the most part though, I mean, most of the ruts came out, except for the trench my dogs have done. So overall, I mean, for 15 bucks for 4 hours, I'm happy with it. I think it was a good idea to grab that. So again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The More You Mow. Hope you guys learned something, picked up a new trick or two, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.